Okay, welcome everyone. I'll just get a share up. Everyone, can everyone see?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Great. Okay, well, welcome everyone to the SingularityNET Archive meeting. Oh dear, my internet connection is unstable. But oh,
It's
my internet's just a bit slow. I'll try refreshing. Hold on a sec. Can you see that?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I'm just getting, so if I cut out, but okay, welcome to the monthly archive work group meeting, project management meeting. It's the 5th of March today, Wednesday. I'll just give a quick preamble for the sake of the recording. SingularityNet Archive contains a history of the activities of the SingularityNet Ambassador Program. All content is provided under an open source Apache 2 license, and contributions are or may also be licensed under Creative Commons license. We do video recordings of these meetings. We try to do a basic summary and timestamps. That's on a YouTube link, which will be updated. Our goal is to provide a collaborative platform for the SingularityNet Archive community to share knowledge, ideas, and we welcome contributions from anyone interested in SNAP, whether it's in code, project code, or documentation. So our process is that first of all, we start with some action items, which we go to Vanny in a minute, and then we go through the project board, and then we might wrap up with any other business. Okay, do you want to go to the action items now, Vanny?
Yeah, sure. I think I can share over the top of you, actually.
Oh, here's
Oh,
Ashley.
oh, nice. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
All right, here's the meeting summary. Um, I'll just add in that Ashley's here. Oops. And we've got the marvelous new autosave feature, so I don't have to scroll down and save. It's going to do it for me. Um, okay, we've got a few working docs, and I've added the GitHub issue for this meeting. We had quite a lot of decisions last time. It's interesting actually because this meeting template that we use is not ideal for us because it's questionable whether these are decisions or just discussion points. But anyway, yeah, we noted that given the low-ish token price, I think we can now say bloody awfully low token price because it's dropped since. We're not going to be able to do that initiative that we had in mind in this quarter if the price went up to create a skilled documentation team. And we said we'd review it next meeting, but I think, yeah, we still can't. We definitely can't. And we might, I guess, if price goes up or if we have a little bit in hand next quarter, we might create some video walkthroughs for the new version of the summary tool when it's all done and dusted. So, yeah, I think, yeah, there's nothing else to say about that really. Um, yeah, we'll come on to the quarterly report draft when we get to it in the GitHub board. Um, yeah, we noted that there's a new repo for the new version of the tool. I think I can remove that because we've noted it, it's documented. Um, yeah, Andre's tool development last time we noted he was working on the autosave feature, and I can update that to say, yeah, the autosave feature is now there. Um, we discussed that suggestion from a Treasury meeting a couple of months ago now of adding a feature to the summary tool for data capture for decisions that are made outside of workgroup meetings, such as the quarterly budget decisions. And we decided against doing it as a meeting summary template. So we'll just keep ideating on that, but I can remove that. Um, yeah, we had Stephen's update on his presentation on Stalnaker, and we had stuff on the work Stephen had been doing last month, so I'll take that out. Um, and the first release of the graph database in Python, um, and some stuff about what Stephen will be doing. this month, so I'll remove that. Um, the ethics policy, yeah, we agreed that we'll share it in AI ethics work group and the forum when it's done. We talked a bit about the tag taxonomy stuff, and that we will come on to when we get to it on the board. And we agreed to add all as part of the names taxonomy. And we noted that, there is a sense in which Read AI and other generic AI tools kind of erase who we are as a community if they're used uncritically, because they're formulated to understand conventional business and corporate contexts. So, yeah, they don't necessarily suit us. Right, action items. I was to approach Deep Funding to ask about the issue raised in our November meeting about documentation of Deep Funding Town Hall to see if they want to take it on. I ran it past the focus group. They said yes, it seems like a good thing to do, and they were quite interested in it. But I haven't had a reply yet back from the events circle, so I will change that later to reflect that. Hopefully, they'll be up for doing it. And we also noticed an issue with tags where people are copy pasting strings of comma separated tags into the summary tool directly, but they're not rendering as separate tags. So Andre was going to look at this. I shouldn't think you've had time, have you?
I think no. I think it is working.
Oh,
It is work. I'm dev. I'm pretty sure it's working. I think I
all
just
right.
had to remove the old ones, but it's definitely. I have tested it in the past. It
Oh,
should be
nice. So
working now.
you can now post a string of comma separated tags and they will render as separate tags.
Yes. Yeah.
Marvelous. That's fantastic. All right, that's about all from that. Over to the board.
No, that's cool having that common delimited tags feature.
Yep.
Okay, let's go back to the board. Blah, 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 blah. There we go. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I'll move on to the board for starting from the top. Um, okay, we've got some processing payments. Is that just an administrative issue,
It's
Andre?
yeah. That's
So
something
it's just
that
as a placeholder.
yeah.
Okay. Um, then there's the meeting, this meeting issue, and then we have a issue for the quarterly report, which you've just drafted, haven't you, Vanny?
Yeah, just to say to people, it's been open for comments since our last meeting. And I think those who care have had a look and think it's okay. So if you want to have a quick skim through, you could do. But basically, it says we've done what we set out to do, and we've kind of done more than what we set out to do in this quarter. Do you want to scroll down a little bit? So we've got the usual headings of what we did with meetings and project management, what we did with tooling and development, with links to the relevant issues. Yeah. Details a bit of what we've done on the summary tool. And I've added something about the thing that I raised in the workgroup sync call last time about archives management, how we'll be testing a new approach where we're not going to intervene and see what difference it
Right.
makes. So yeah, we've
Yeah,
put that in the report for clarity.
that's related to an approach to data, and I suppose it also touches
Yeah,
on, how much the ambassador program is subject to the data tools we use and how much we can control that data, I suppose, in the
yeah,
long term.
exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
and then we have community
And then
engagement section on
yeah, I mean, it's surprising we had no
budget.
money at all for community engagement this quarter, but we still managed to do a fair bit, um,
Yeah,
which is good, I suppose.
yeah. I suppose budget's a big theme, isn't it? We're kind of just trying to cut our cloth where
I
we
mean,
can.
it is a big thing, but I've tried to keep it minimal because everyone knows that it's an issue and there's nothing else to say. Just
Yeah,
accept, we had a little bit less than we had in the previous quarter. And then, yeah, our plans for 25 for Q2 are basically prioritizing the graph rag process and everything that kind of feeds into that. I'm feeling
Yeah.
like at the moment a lot of the work we're doing is quite integrated. So yeah.
Yeah, more and more. It's just good. Okay, that's the quarterly report. Thank you, Vanny. I'll start with some development issues. Can I start with you, Andre, on the development issues with the meeting
Yeah,
summary, the Q1 issue?
yeah.
Um,
So this one, I think I did right at the bottom.
yeah, here we go.
This
Yeah,
is basically this work will eventually move into my monthly
right.
development tasks. But
Got you.
this particular issue is just to track some past work that I've done. I've put it on hold pretty much now until because I've done a few features for the current tool, but I'm rebuilding the tool from scratch.
Yeah.
So that is gonna carry on. But this particular issue is just for paying
Yeah.
past work.
I think that's
So we can,
quite useful to have a quarterly issue where you have more of an overview and then a monthly issue which is more detail. I
I'm
think that's
yeah,
just
quite,
yeah.
I'm just thinking, Andre, do you think we need to say that explicitly in the quarterly report that like this quarter you were doing additional development work as well as this, but in Q2 it's going to be the meeting summary tool will be your development work. Do we need to
Yeah,
specify that?
yeah, yeah, that's maybe a good idea. I
Okay.
can, yeah, maybe just up, add some updates there, just to make it clear.
yeah.
So this one we can actually move to done, and then hopefully
All right, because
next quarter I can start focusing on the new tool.
but keep it open until the end of March, yeah, because the Q1.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, that's
the we have a couple of tool development ones, same for me, but I'll start with the February one for you.
yeah.
Um,
So
and there was a bit of some bug
uh,
updates.
yes, there was a bug that
Oh
while
dear.
people were typing,
Okay.
it's said like duplicate names and tags. So I just removed that bug
Okay.
and also fixed the database. So I
Right.
removed all the duplicates. And then I added the autosave feature. And there was also a bug with the cancelled summaries or no summary given. It looks like those bugs are all sorted out. So that's what I did for February.
Yeah, can confirm. I've just been adding a shed load of no summary givens. So yeah.
It's
Yeah.
working. Oh,
Can we put
that's great
should,
news.
sorry,
Yeah.
should I put this into done now?
Yes, yeah, we can move this to done.
Just trying to think how we should.
There's no price against it.
Ah,
We need to fix that. We
Yeah,
need to go back
what?
and look at the actual budget to find out how much it's supposed to
yeah,
be.
Okay, I'll keep it
I
open
think
for
it's
the moment.
anyway, yeah,
Then
leave we'll check.
yeah. Just
I'll
leave
keep it
it
open because
with
so we don't lose it. And then for March,
for
is that yours,
March.
Andre, or mine? That's yours, yeah.
It's
Okay.
fine. Oh, I just added some styling. So if you edit an existing summary, there's a drop down, and
Right.
in the old tool, it used to show like which ones are not archived, and there's usually one that was archived. So I just added that indication just to show the last archived summary.
Okay. Great. Okay.
So that's
Nwobi, you have a question?
Uh, Good day, guys.
Raised your hand.
it. Hello.
Great work, Andrew. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right. So I have like some feedbacks basically from the summary tool because
Yeah,
I've been using it recently, and for me, looking at it right now, it has if someone wants to submit anything summary, they could either create a new um summary, a new template, or uh, edit the existing one. I had a question
yeah,
around that. Editing the existing one, does it mean that they could just, let's say we want to document for this week. Now we could just edit the previous one from last week and change the date and change some of the because I feel some of the action items might move from last week into this week. So is it that we could just edit the summary from last week and submit it for this week? Or once you edit it for last week, it changes last week's submission? I don't
No,
know
it
if
doesn't change the last week's submission, but I think the aim of doing it is we've noticed a lot of people, they literally don't change their summary from week to week. They just put the exact same thing in, and there must be things that are different. So we're trying to encourage people to start a new one. But yeah, you can do what you're suggesting. You can go to the old one and just change the date and repeat. But it'd be nice if people didn't and if they actually wrote what happened in that meeting. Because we've got some
yeah,
work groups who are submitting word for word the exact same thing every week.
Yeah, that's not good, is it?
yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of understand.
Um,
But sometimes it's also kind of let's say tricky or difficult in the sense that some action items might be moved to the next week and you will have to check out the previous summaries. I know not all work groups that actually go through action items within their calls.
Yeah.
Basically. So it's yeah, it's a lot sometimes too.
No, you absolutely can go in and edit the old summary and just change the date and it won't alter the one that
Yeah.
you've already submitted. So yeah.
I think
All right.
if you do it that way, then you have to change the date before you start editing, just to, because
Oh,
if you start editing immediately before changing the date,
yes,
then
of
it
course.
will edit the old summary. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
Oh, nice. All right.
okay. I hope that addresses your concern there, and I'll move on to, unless there's any other questions, I'll move on to my issues, development issues. Okay, I'll just look at them. I'm following the similar sort of pattern to Andre, where I have an overview. So I'll go to the overview issue. This is the quarter 1. And so I did some stuff on Stormaker previously, and that was last month on graph data. I put some data in there. If anyone's interested in the development we're doing on there, I follow this link to the GitHub repo, where I have a wiki which explains everything I've built there. So I won't go into detail now, but that's what has been built or in progress. I was going to do a possible presentation on auditing graph data or graph-based systems. But what actually happened to that was it turned into a proposal for deep funding, essentially. So I would encourage everyone to support our deep funding proposal. It's obviously a little bit. So just follow this link there, and you can look at our deep funding proposal for a ethical AI auditing approach, a practice-based approach, which is based on best practice use of graph data or graph AI data.
Just to say, that's not a deep funding proposal, though. It's the BGI
Yeah,
next
sorry.
round.
Yeah, the BGI round. Yeah. So I I'm updated here, but for following on from that, I'll be focusing more on infrastructure tools, so there's no duplication of funding there. I'll move on to February. So I'm going to continue to enhance the SNet graph database, which I'm going to do and part of that is to write a script to access project board data, which I'm working on. It's still in progress. That's February. I probably need to put that to March now, some of that. In March, I've begun work on, oh, that's your one. We've got this right. There's mine. Okay, there you go. So my internet's a bit slow for some reason. Okay. Okay, so here I'm working on, it's a bit boring, but it's quite useful. I'm working on creating a repo for graph data tools. And this is going to be a repo where I'm going to collect a number and create a number of tools that we can use, in short, to wrangle data, a lot of it, but also to create implementation tools, like so when we develop something, we can wrap it into an app and then release it into a repo which other people can use. For example, what I'm starting with is an app token generator. This is a way to create an authentication method for generic application distribution, I suppose. So what this would do is that if we developed, say, whatever, we would then wrap it into a GitHub app, and this bit of that creates the authentication part of it. So it's like a proof of concept as well. And also it's going to use GraphQL to interface with with GitHub data itself. So that's also going to be an element to it. So the way it could be used, for example, in this particular app, when it's finished, it will it will instantiate itself, and then it will draw down issue data. But that's just the basic proof of concept, but you could use it to instantiate anything you wanted to. So for example, we could use it to instantiate a graph data tool, or something to do with Andre's archive work, or anything we could be wrapped into that. So that's what that is. If anyone's interested in the code, they're welcome to have a look at that, but it's still very much, I'm still working, resolving some API issues. But all it does is instantiate itself and then install an installation token and list issues from repo using the GitHub API. Go back. So that's what I will be working on in March, and I'm also going to discuss more generally what other data tools will be useful in preparation for more broader use of graph tools in the second quarter. And so there's no, I hope that meant something. It wasn't too in depth, but that continues. Okay, the next issue is community engagement issue. It's work group sync calls. Vanny?
Oh, this is just a standing agenda item. Whether we as a work group have anything we want to bring to the work group sync calls. I brought the whole issue of no longer correcting meeting summaries to the last one. But
Right.
yeah, is there anything? I mean, the next one will be, towards the end of this month. Is there anything people can think of that we would want to kind of make sure that all work groups are aware of?
I'll take that as a positive pause.
I think that's a no. All right. I mean, we've
okay.
got a while. If anything occurs to us, we
Yeah.
have got a while.
Yeah. I mean, I find that particularly interesting, the pause in updates, because what we're going to be looking at increasingly is, and this is partly inspired by the BGI round a little bit, is how we use data, whether data uses us or we use data, in short. Okay, and that's like an artificial intelligence theme as well. So how can we get a handle on the data we produce, and what does that look like if it's like controlled or less controlled, that kind of thing. So any input on that is welcome. I don't know if there's any comments on that. So I see you, Peter. Okay. If anyone's got any ideas or any inspirations about that, please, as always, input into our Discord or these issues. Moving on to there, on a similar subject, on open source culture and policy development on AI ethics. It's quite a mouthful, this one.
I've got nothing. We can move on really quickly. I've got nothing written up at the moment, so by the end of the quarter, we will have a start on it.
Cool. Developing a skilled documenter team. Is that budget issue with this one, or is
Yeah,
it?
I think we can we add yeah, it had the price hasn't gone up enough, so we're gonna have to not do this. Shall I update it after the meeting so you don't have to type and chair at the same time? Or
Um, yeah, I've actually just typing this.
oh,
Pretty
all
easy.
right, okay.
But if you want to I'll just
I
put
mean,
likely to be drawn in.
if you could just add maybe that it's obviated also by the way that we're not going to be correcting and we're going to be trying to see what the result is of having not perfect summaries and maybe continuing with people who are kind of novices doing it.
Okay, not correcting summaries. I'll put so. Uh, so we can compare. That's so we can compare a before and after.
Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting. I mean, if people step back and say, why are you contributing your meeting summaries and what can we do with that?
Mm.
And as everyone hopefully everyone here understands the amount of work that goes into that, yeah. And it's been over a year now that we have, yeah, and Vanny especially has kind of done a lot of quality control on the meeting summaries.
Actually
And
getting on for 3 years,
yeah,
the
and
corpus
that's
we've got.
and that's all well and good, but there's some issues with that because it's very time intensive. And also, it in fact impacts the pieces are in a decentralized environment. Ideally, people would just create their own meeting summaries, and that would be the end of it. Yeah. But in practice, what we have to do is do a lot of quality control. Now, the idea of the cutoff is that I'll just explain this for the sake of the recording, Vanny. Okay, is to have a before, so a time when we had quality controlled meeting summaries, yeah, which will produce a particular data set, and then an after where we don't do that, and it's actually it means we also can spend less resources on that, which is one thing, but also it allows us to compare what happens. So if we don't do extensive quality control, what happens? What does the data look like? And then we'll draw some conclusions from that.
Mm. I mean, it ties
Is this
into all the thinking that we've been doing about what kind of questions people might ask of the corpus.
yeah,
Because, yeah, I mean, I don't want to preempt the kind of
yeah,
experimental results, but it does seem likely that we'll be able to have very, clear edges between nodes around, sort of who was at our meeting and what topics were discussed, but we won't know what anyone said about those topics because people don't
yeah,
really document that very well. So, yeah, it might sort of help clarify what is important and and
yeah,
that again will then feed into the summary tool if we kind of realize that certain things need to be clearer, need to be asked for explicitly if we want that information.
yeah. And I know that people, for them, also for the sake of recording, what we're doing there is beginning to use graph terminology, and we are going to shift much more to using, and also this is fund independent, of course, as well. Much more going to focus, as Vanny mentioned in the quarterly report, much more into using graph data, and graph data is much more usable in an AI and a generative AI context. And what Vanny talks to them about edges is like if you think like a social network, is that let's imagine that you have a meeting summaries which are being quality controlled, and now certain clusters of data will be much more regulated. The relations between those class data will be more, because they've been checked by van or quality control a lot. They will be consistent mostly, yeah. But that what happens to those clusters? And in the jargon of graph data, they're called communities clusters. So what clusters do you get if you do not have those quality controls? And then we'll be able to compare that to see or community creates that is to control one which is quality controlled. So that's where we obviously take time. Increasingly in these meetings, we'll be using this kind of terminology. So thanks, Manny. And is this still in progress, or are we going to?
No, I think we can close it. Because that actually, if you change the
Right,
amount to 0, because that was what we were gonna budget it at if we had
right,
the money to do it. We haven't, so it's 0,
right.
and then we can close it.
Okay. Yep. Essentially withdrawn because of budget issues, which is a bit sad, but there you go. That's life, and that's done. Moving on to, there's a whole set of archive Gitbook update issues. Do you want me to go through these,
I
Vanessa?
mean, not one by one, but if you can just open July, and I'll show you what
Yeah,
I've been doing. Um,
yeah,
I was starting to just like run out of steam with chasing things. So I've got it to this. We do still have a big backlog with ambassador town halls. That's my fault. I just haven't had a chance, but I will get to it. And obviously deep funding town halls, we're hoping to hand that over to the events circle. There are a couple that are coming soon. This is the much vaunted backlog that governance work group has, and people are getting to it. But it was worth noting that, quite often it was Marketing Guild and African Guild that haven't given us summaries, and sometimes Strategy Guild. Now, Strategy, I know it was because there was a period where they were not meeting, so that's perfectly valid. Marketing, I'm not sure about. I just wonder, is there anyone here who goes to Marketing Guild? I mean, obviously this is going back a bit, but it's kind of a bit of a consistent issue throughout the months that they're not giving summaries. Does anyone know if there's an issue or anything we can help them with?
Yeah, Vani,
Yeah.
these
go for it.
periods were for marketing guild. These periods were the time where they were still undergoing restructuring, basically. The time Judith left.
Oh, I know, but what I'm saying, I don't want to go through all the issues, but that it is quite often Marketing Guild and African Guild that are not submitting summaries, even more recently. And if it's just that, sometimes they don't, then that's fine. But if there's an issue or a problem that we can help them with, then we can
Uh,
try and help them.
I'm actually a bit confused. Why? Because in marketing guild we currently have like not just now. I think from September we had a single documenter, and all summaries are being submitted at the end of
Okay.
every week. They're also on the channel
Okay.
till date. Yeah. So maybe these ones that you've highlighted are during the time that we weren't having meetings due to Judith's
Mm,
absence. Yeah. So aside that,
right.
I don't think there've been summaries that are having something.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I need to sort of do a complete roundup of more recent months, but do you know anything does anybody here know anything about African Guild? I've noticed quite a lot of no summary givens for them as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
this is this
Right.
as a footnote. Is this part of the before, Vanny, as well?
Part of
So before and after. So
in what sense?
in the sense that we will have to these past meetings would be more quality controlled than going forward. Is that
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, they will.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, anything up to the end of this month will be
Right.
like quality controlled as I normally would do. But
Okay.
yeah, I think part of the quality control issue is we're not going to be chasing them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we should raise in the next workgroup sync call, is how long people will have to get a meeting summary up before we just record it as not given. Has anyone got any thoughts on like what that time period should be?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like a week is too short and a month is too long. Should we say 2 weeks? Does that sound if it's not up to, or should we just say, look, sod it, let's do it at the end of the quarter? I mean, Kevin's saying a
Yeah.
week actually seems fair. I don't think you do a lot of documentation, Kevin, so I don't think you can really say. Yeah, a week is definitely too short. Okay.
3 weeks.
Onyeka, you're
I
saying
complain within a week already that I don't have a draft summary. So,
yeah, but
Yeah.
you're you, Sebo. Not everybody does it that way. Yeah,
It kind of has governance implications a little bit, doesn't it? Because
sort of.
I
I mean,
mean,
because you know
it's how we,
the document of a summary is often floating around. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with Tebow, I think summaries are part of it in a sense, like, well, should be. I mean, it's a should, I suppose. In my view, I'll qualify this. In my view, I think summaries should be related to the meeting, so that there should be a time element there, because what you're doing is communicating what you've done in the meeting. Yeah.
well, yes, but no bugger looks at the archive. I wish they would, but they don't. And we've also got to remember that there's a governance element in somebody writing a summary, sharing it with their work group, giving people time to make any comments and corrections before it
Yeah,
goes up.
there is that.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
I suppose there's a broader issue there of how to conduct decision processes, in
yeah.
a decentralized environment. I suppose that's what I'm thinking.
I
But that's
mean,
probably too broad to
I
apply to
sort of
this,
feel like I
maybe.
can't say anything to anybody when there's ambassador town halls from July that I still
Yeah,
haven't
exactly,
uploaded.
exactly.
But what I'm
Um,
thinking is maybe where Kizzy's saying in the chat a month, I kind of think, yeah, because then also part of what we're trying to do here is minimize the admin work.
yeah,
So if
yeah,
I did a run through at the end of a month, then yeah, that kind of
yeah.
works.
I mean, it's definitely something we all need to discuss and feedback on. It's not something, not one person's view, is it? So yeah. Was that representative of the other archive Gitbook issues?
Yeah, I think we need to look at the others because yeah, it's kind of
Okay,
similar issues.
so
And
that
I'm keeping them
covers.
open just yeah, while we're sorting out all the other stuff. So yeah.
Okay, for the
But yeah,
sake
I'm
of.
hoping to close them all in the next like week or so.
Okay. So, for the sake of recording, the people who don't know, these issues are monthly records of updates to our archives Gitbook, doing kind of quality control and adding and making checking meeting summaries. And some of them go back to July, so it's July or August and all that. And as Vanny says, these will close as they are completed. So we're not going to go for each one because each one will just be basically a list of what has been done and what hasn't been done. So it's kind of a bit boring, really. But yeah, if you want to check them yourself, you can look at that. Moving on to tag taxonomy Q2.
I mean,
Was
maybe
that
we should have
paid?
split this into a new issue for the stuff we're talking about now, but I added something from the last meeting if you want to scroll down.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
So yeah, in the last meeting, 5th of Feb, we realized that the things we thought we needed to do with this project, like exhaustively deduping tags in the database itself, we probably don't need to do. We
Yeah,
talked quite a lot about how maybe our current graph rag process is going to be able to fill in a lot of the gaps with missing tags. But we probably, going forward, we agreed that we probably should define a control vocab for topic tags for the future. And me and Andre were supposed to meet about that, and we haven't. So we'll just do that. Yeah.
there's a kind of maybe a workflow that can develop going forward this year with Graph, because there's one hand where you basically discover what is there already, including misspellings and duplications and things like that, and you can identify that with graph clusters, and then that could then be fed to a human reviewer maybe, who says, "Oh, this is what we really want," maybe. And do you think that's how it might work, Vanny?
Sort of. I mean, what all I'm seeing is it's a kind of aid for people writing summaries. And so that we don't get decentralization spelt the English way and spelt the
Right.
American way with a capital D and a lowercase d and whatever. So it's just kind of keeping that, that control vocab a little bit tidy.
Right.
There's still going to
Right.
be an option for people to add new tags, but we have that process of, we discuss it in a meeting.
Okay.
Tevo.
Tibo, you have your hand up. So.
Something like well, like in Treasury Coil, we also have like tagging discussions and like what Stefan mentioned, having a general tool where you can just drop in any table of relations regarding tags, and because we have like 3 or 4 task or tag related tables, and if that just spits out a relational table or like visual representation of clusters, I think then it's like a general tool, and you can also wherever any work group, any topic, somebody is tagging something,
Yeah.
you have like just
But there is, the whole thing of when we put something into a graph database and we're using LLMs to query that, semantic similarity
Yeah.
can help you kind of make those clusters. So I guess what we're thinking about is just trying to make it easier for people when they're actually submitting a summary to have a sense of like what might be useful to add as a tag. Oh, hi, Essay.
I see. Sorry. So what you were saying, Vanny?
Yeah, just that really, the clustering might be doable when we query a graph database rather than giving it to people as something to use.
Yeah, it'd be good to broaden this out at some point, Tibo, because we are working. We will be working more on what relations come from clusters of data that are produced from different sources. Yeah, and what we're hoping to do more is to make that more and more generic. So basically, tools that we can all use in the ambassador program. But one of the key issues with just letting the clusters of data emerge is semantic issues. So using they're both I have written down somewhere, but I probably haven't completed it yet. But where you basically do a semantic statistical analysis on proximities of things to see whether it's not necessarily just misspellings, but also how certain terms are used in relation to things, which we could start using more off-the-shelf standards semantic analysis on. And that would be a good one. I think that'd be a very good educational approach that we could teach ourselves, because this is a standard method used in not just generative AI, but also graph AI. So we can hopefully start to do that and think more about the data that we're using. Sorry if that's a bit of a off topic. So, Eva, oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Check names tags. Is this a
It's another
There's
standing item, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah? So it's like
there's
just
a
to do.
So are there
Right.
any? Because I noticed that I don't know if we did add all. We agreed in the last one that we would add that as a name.
all names. No, I haven't added that.
No.
What I did was I went back because there was that bug. So I first had to fix
Oh yeah,
both those tables, remove all the duplicates.
yeah.
So that is fixed now. But yeah, I think this can tie into that meeting we need to have.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
and
But yeah, I think this is just like the process that we were going to do is kind of go through any new tags that have appeared in meeting summaries and kind of verify them But yeah, I
Yeah.
know there are a couple of new people. Actually, I think one of them is here. Max Miles. Is he still here? No, he's not.
Shucks.
No, but he is somebody who I've seen in meetings recently, and so I think
Yeah.
he has been added as a tag and should probably be added to the
Hmm.
Yeah.
list. So yeah.
Okay. Then we have Budge Q2. Is that just a holding issue again?
No, this is our
Just
actual
to
budget for the next quarter, which we
right. Yeah, exactly.
shared roughly
Yeah.
last quarter, and it's been open for comments, and I don't think there's been any. So I think just to sign it off, really.
Okay.
I'm sort of wondering, should I submit it like this, where it just like if you scroll down to the second section, it's just can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it, or shall I just
Yeah.
remove?
Yeah, it shows you the impact of prices. Thibaut.
Yeah, I noticed also a video archival video dropping of February one, and I was wondering if all of these one-off tasks go off, and is the cost of project management still going to continue as such? Because I noticed when I dropped off like these different documentation, like project management kind of ceases to exist in some sense if it's like, but I know I do it like a very like a rigid way maybe, and then
Sorry, how do you
so
mean?
if you scroll up a little, you have 1,200 I think on the project management compressed, and
No, but if you have a look at that field, it'll tell you what it comprises.
Yeah, if you could do that, I can't really do that on my computer easily.
yeah, I was also watching YouTube,
yeah.
so I couldn't do that. So I haven't gone into it.
Yeah. Okay, so
So it covers quite a lot of things. It's not just documentation. There's the meeting facilitation, there's the agenda prep, there's keeping the board together, there's all the budget wrangling, there's planning future work. I remember like over a year ago, we were called out on this by Rojo, and we gave an account of ourselves and explained what it covers. So you're doing that again, are you?
I'm just wondering, like, does it because for me, I have the same line item, but it by actual numbers, I noticed it dropped like half because I stopped doing so many different things. It got very streamlined, and I didn't really have to, yeah, prep that much of agendas anymore. It was like because there wasn't like consistent strive for new innovative things. It was more about maintenance.
yeah. Well, as Manny says, the detail is there. I mean, it does go across a number of different tasks from me facilitating this meeting, for example, to recording the meeting. There's a lot of work that was hidden, and that actually, in terms of following up on issues, you're probably aware of this type of thing, TiVo, where an awful lot of time is spent on going to an issue, seeing if it's up to date, seeing if it's tracking the work you're doing, if it's an allocated thing, that kind of thing. So there is quite a lot of work in there, and it's important to describe what that includes, which Banny has done. It's cut off my piece of, you can read the whole description of the task there.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it kind of, okay.
Sorry, I'm trying to find where I was now. I've got too many tabs open. All right. Okay. There I am. There I am. Found my tab. Okay. So anyway, so it's going to be submitted in that way, Annie, yeah?
I don't know.
In
I
that,
was asking people, what do you think? I mean, I think it's kind of like
yeah,
leaving the things we would have done if we'd had more money. But, everyone's in the same boat with token price as it is.
yeah.
So,
I think it's quite helpful just to submit it as a Google sheet. Um, is that how everyone else does it, or
yes, this is
yeah,
not an issue.
yeah. Okay. So anything else on that?
I mean, was there some other way you were suggesting submitting it other than
Who,
a Google
me?
Sheet? Yeah.
No, I just wasn't aware how it fitted into a process. That's all.
All right.
So, but yeah. Okay. That's it for the archives Gitbook ones up on these ones which we previously discussed. Are there any issues or work that we need to add to the board? No, I said so. I'll just stop sharing, and I'll stop recording now.